Hello, welcome back to Gordon's channel. In this lesson, we will do some full stack coding. So we will use JavaScript as the front end and C# as the back end. And first of all, I would like to thank you, Marisa, for asking me this question. So Marisa has filled my FullCalendar.js lesson, and she has asked whether we can use the JS library in the ASP.NET Framework project. And yes, we can. And because Marisa is using MVC, so we will use the MVC pattern as the demo. So first of all, I would like to demonstrate the result of this lesson. So we will have a calendar page rendered by the C# server, and we will have the calendar library running, drawing the calendar with the library. So this is my source code. So I have the model, I have the controller, passing the model into the field, and I have the field, which is the reading the data from the controller and rendering it onto the web page. And I'm importing the library here. So actually, this is the key part. So we import the library in the CS.html file. So you don't need to worry about typing along with the video because I will upload it. So not will upload it because I have uploaded it. So it is in my GitHub repository, the calendar.cshtml, the event model.cs, and the to-do controller.cs. So I will put the link in the description. And for this video, I will split into 5 steps. I will assume that this is for absolute beginners, not knowing which software to install. So I will begin with setting up the IDE and creating the project. And we will create a controller and a field. And then we will import the CSS and JavaScript in the appropriate file. And then we will create the event model. And lastly, this is what troubles me for 3 days to prepare this video, which is how to let the data from the controller to be read by the JavaScript. So first of all, we will go to the install the IDE. So we will go to the official website of Visual Studio. And here we can download the Visual Studio suitable for our device. So after installing the Visual Studio, we will go to the, we can create a new project. So this is the window for the new project. So let me show you. So here we have to choose the fourth one at the right, create a new project. And for the names, we can, for the type, we need to choose the third one, the ASP.NET Core Web Application. So after that, we can give it a name, for example, using JS Lite. And then we can choose create. And there is a fourth box to choose which one. So we need to choose the MVC because I am using MVC as demo for Marisa. So here, after getting into this interface, we can see that at the right top upper right hand corner, we have the directory. So we have the root to serve the image, the style sheet, and the JavaScript file. And we also have 3 folders, the controllers, the model, and the field. So if we want to test what is currently serving, we can click on this button, II Express. If we click on this for the first time, it will ask us to trust the IIS Express, and we have to click yes twice. And because I've clicked it already, it won't ask me again. So after clicking, it will run our browser and it will render the page with the C# server. So here we have a web page, we have the home, and we have the privacy. We have 2 pages by default. So let's go back to our code and start coding. So the first step that we want to do is create the control and the field. So suppose I don't want to do it on the home and the privacy. I want to create a new page. So how do we do it? So we will go to, first of all, we will go to the field and we will create a new folder. So right click on the fields and choose add new folder. And let's call it to do. And now we need to right click and choose add and choose field. So now we have the new field. So now we have this pop-up and it asks us which file to choose. So we will choose the razor field empty. And it will ask us again. So we choose razor field empty again. So the default web page is index.cs HTML. And we can add something here to show that this is this web page. For example, we can add a paragraph showing that this is the to-do index. And we don't need to bother this anymore. We need to add a new file. So add a new field in the to-do and razor field empty, and then the razor field empty again. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. So let me switch it off and delete this one. So I need to create a new one, add a field. Yeah. So now I need to add razor field empty. And in the next pop-up, we can see a list from the controller razor page, razor field. So we choose the razor field. So here we have created a second razor field with the name of index1.cxhtml. So let's rename it to calendar.html, calendar.cshtml. So let's add a header to demonstrate that this is the to-do calendar page. Now we need to serve it. So we need to go to the controllers and right click on the controller folder and choose add controller. So now we will have a pop-up. So this pop-up will ask us which type of file we want to add. So we will choose the controller empty. And there will be a second pop-up. This second pop-up will ask us to choose from this list, which is the same as previously. So we can choose the MVC controller empty and add. So now we have a new file called homecontroller1.cs, and we can choose here and choose rename. So it should probably be named as to-do controller. So once we try to rename it, we will see another alert box. So we will see this alert box, which is asking that you are renaming a file. Would you like to perform rename in this project of all the reference? And we should choose yes. So we have changed all the names to to-do controllers. So let's save it. And now we have the to-do controllers. And this to-do controllers is changing both the showing both the index.cxhtml and the calendar.cxhtml in the to-do. Oh, not yet. We need to add one more route here. So for the first action result, it is index. So we copy these 3 lines and we choose edit this index to calendar. So now we will serve both the index and the calendar action. So let's add the link to it first. First of all, we can go to the layout. So it is in the fields, the shared folder. We can see the underscore layout.cshtml. So open it. And now we can see that in the navigation bar, we have 2 list items. One is for the home, one is for the privacy. So let's copy these 2 list items and copy and paste it. So we want to have a first one going to the to-do index. So this one should go to a controller of to-do and an action of index. And for the first one, I want the text to be calendar. And for the attribute ASP controller, I will change to to-do. And for the ASP action, I will change to calendar. So this will match with our controller. And apart from this way, we can also use a direct hyperlink. So this is actually to do /calendar. So we can switch off this layout and go to the home, the index.html, and we can add one more paragraph here. So we can add a paragraph and with an hyperlink. So this hyperlink will link to do /calendar. And here the content, we can say this go to the calendar directly. So let's save it and let's run the ISS Express and run it again. So it will take a few seconds up to a few minutes to start this page. So it will be on the local host, the 44348 port on my computer. So here we have both the header navigation, or we have in the homepage, we have a hyperlink. So it both link to the to-do calendar. So now we will proceed to the next step. So the next step is we want to import the CSS and the JavaScript in this .cs HTML file. So let's try it. So let's go to our source code. And we can go to the calendar.cs HTML. So now we need to import the two libraries. To import the libraries, we can get the link from the official document, or if we already have the project, we can copy it from our project. So first of all, we need to link the style sheet, and we will need to link the content delivery network. So this is, I'm using FullCalendar as the demonstration. So after linking these two, so you may ask why I link in this calendar.html, why I don't put it in the head. Because if we check the layout.html, we can see that we have the head and the body, and what we are inside the controller action, it is actually inside the render body in the main. And so why we don't put it in the head? So if we put this loading the calendar library in the head of the layout, then every page will load this library. But not all the page needs library, so it will block the rendering. It will increase the waiting time of a user. So it is recommended to put it inside the using page instead of the layout. So after linking it, we can create a script. So in my uploaded files, I have do it in page inside this CSHTML. And now I would like to demonstrate how to do this using the www root. So now we can say src.javascript. So this will link to the JavaScript. And now we in the JavaScript folder in the www root, in the JS folder, we only have a site.js. So let's create one more file, add a new file. So just choose anything, and let me show you the pop-up. So inside this pop-up, we can scroll down and choose the JavaScript file. So here, JavaScript file, let's choose it. So now we are creating a new JavaScript file in the JS folder. So we can rename it to calendar.js. Okay, calendar.js. So this calendar.js will be to be loaded here. So we should inside the script tag after the FullCalendar.js, we should load it here inside the path. After the JS/, we will use the calendar.js, and it will prompt us, so we can choose here to avoid the typo. So after saving, we should be able to create a calendar here. So to create a calendar, we will need to use the new FullCalendar.calendar. We need to use this method, and the FullCalendar is from the FullCalendar library, and this is the method of this FullCalendar object. But we need to pass the element and the options to it. So the elements we need to create in the CS/HTML. We need to create it with division with an ID of, let's say, calendar element. Let's say that's calendar. Okay. So after creating this division, we can go to the JavaScript and put what we have done previously. So we can create a So we can create this element. So we will get the element from the document and we will pass it to the FullCalendar.calendar method. And for the options, we will have the initial field, the toolbar, and the events. And for the events, I'm using a template one. So for the events, it has to be a JavaScript array with object. Each item is an object with the title and the start property. For the title property, I have typed something, and for the start property, it have to be a date string. So for example, the date of yesterday. Okay, so let's save it. And after saving this one, I can go to click the run again to see if it is working. Yeah, so let's go to the calendar page and we can see that it is working already. So we have the calendar drawing when we have the event in the appropriate date. So this is the uh, next part. So how to import the CSS and the JS in the HTML, and this is how we can use the library. And next, I want to demonstrate how to create the event model, and then I will go to how to convert it into an array. So let's stop this server first, and let's go to the source code. Yeah. So here we can go to the models. Now we can right click on the models folder and choose add and choose the new model. So we will have two pop-up. For the first page, we can just choose anything. And for the second pop-up, here, what we need to choose is we need to create a model class. So they don't have a model class to choose, so we can just choose class. So now we have a class, and the namespace is using js_live.models, and this class, let's name it as event. And for the event, we need to have several properties. So we need to have the title and the start. And this one, we need to follow the C# syntax. So public in ID, and we will get the get and set. And then we will create a another property. So we will have public string. So the title and the start date, they are both string. And we will have the getter and the setter. And again, we need to have a string, which is the start. So start is a state. So let me use state. And I put a string here because I can pass the string into the library, JavaScript library. So I use string here. I don't need to use the date type. So let's save it. Now I have this class and I can rename this file. Let's rename it to event model. So inside the models folder, we have created event model.cs. And this event model.cs, we have the event class with different free properties. So now we need to use this event class in our controller. So we go to our to-do controller, and inside the calendar, first of all, how do we pass it to the field? We can use field data. So field data, and we will have the property, for example, the events, and it will be new array. And this array will be so we will have a new array. Okay, so I have a typo here. All the red curly line is because I have a typo. So it will be field data. And now we will have a new array. And all these arrays should be, let me scroll it a bit and check the error. Is of them missing. So I need to have a semicolon here. So now I need to create the elements. So it will all be some event object. And now we can see that the event is having a red curly line. So this is because we don't have import the namespace yet. So we need to put the namespace here using. And for the namespace, we need to copy from the event model. So this is the namespace. So we will use it. And after using the namespace, we see that the error has gone. So we can create this event object with ID, title, and start date. And same for the next line. So we will have the ID, the title, and the start date. So for the ID, it will be 1 and 2. For the title, it will be, let's say, for example, I will record a video for Marisa. And for the start date, let it be today. So it is 4 a.m. now. So let it be today. And now we will have the title and we have the second one. So let's say the preparation, which start 3 days ago. So this is the, let me see. Yeah, so this is to create the if array elements. Let me see. I'm missing something. No, I don't think so. So let me try to run it. There's some error here. So I have missed something. Let me see. I have, okay, I shouldn't use the colon here because this is JavaScript syntax. I should use the equal sign here. So after changing order to equal sign, it shows no error now. So this is showing error, no error now. So this is the next part is how to pass this. So now it is a array, a list inside the C#. And when I pass it to the front end, it will be a C# array. So how do I turn it into a JavaScript array? So this part actually troubles me for 3 days. And finally, I figured out a way, which is very indirect. So if you know a better way, teach me. So let's go to the script again. So for the field, for the controller, we are passing the data. We are using the models and we are passing the data with field data. So inside the CS Canada, we need to do several changes. First of all, we need to declare the model. So we need to declare the model, which is this namespace and the event. Right. So first of all, we need to add the model. Okay, I don't need this here, but I need the here. Okay, and because this is a array, so I need to use the enumerable. Okay, so it need to be an enumerable, and then the arrow, and then this one, the namespace and the model name. So here I can first of all I can use the field data title to pass the title back to the layout. So I can say field data title is equals to Canada. Semicolon. So this field data title is used by our layout. So if we check the layout, we can see that the title is get from the CS_HTML here. So after getting this, I can store this field data events. So I can store this in a variable. So I can use the variable. So let's call it events. And it will be the field data events. field data events. And this field data events is enumerable, so I need to define the type. So I need to go to use a paraphrase, and I just copy this into this paraphrase. And this is to declare the data type of this field data. So this is a enumerable of the event object, event model. And next, I want to get the length of this array. So I want to get the size and store it for the for loop. So I will use the length, and the events is an enumerable. So here, if I use the length, it will be an error because it doesn't have a length property anymore because it's not an array. So I need to use the count method, count and then paraphrase. So after using the count method, I have the length. So let's save it. And now let's try to check the whether we are getting it correctly. So let's, for example, add field data title. Yeah. So if we no, not the title, the events. So if we check the field data events, and if we run it, yeah. So it is this model, an array of this model. So this is not what we want. So we need to get the elements out. So let's stop this server. And now, how do we get the elements? We need to use the element add method. So we will use the events dot element add. And for example, the first one at the index of 0, and let's get the title out. So let's run again to see if it works. So we need to wait for a few seconds or up to a few minutes for the for it to work. So this is the first title of the first element. So we are getting it successfully with the element add method. So now we need to use the for loop. And here I have tried to use the for loop inside the script tag, but that doesn't work. So I need to do it very indirectly. I need to create a table and render this content in the table first. So we will have a table, and we will have a for loop. For each of the element, we will create a new row, and then we will store each data in each cell. So first of all, we will use the field template for loop. So we will use the add sign, and then we will use the for loop. And this one, we have to follow the C# syntax. So int I equals to 0, and then the I smaller than the length, which is the count, and then the I plus plus. And so this is looping inside. And here we need to have the row, and each row we need to have the dd. So let's try it first. Element add I id. So this is I will create a table. So loop over the events, and for each element I will have a new row, and I'm only printing the ID now. And yeah, so let's save it and see if it works now. So let's go to Canada, and we see that we have get it successfully. So let's try to also print the title and the start date. And let's try it again. So I have come up with some tutorial which tell me to use the for each. But when I use the for each, it doesn't work. So I have to use the traditional for loop. So now I have put everything in a table. So I have the first row being the first event and the second row for the second event. And now I need to use the JavaScript to get the data from this table. So I will go to the JavaScript to get the data. Let the events array. So this events array will be what we want to put in the event of the Canada. So instead of an array hard coding here, I want to get from the server, and then I want to load it into the JavaScript. So I will push a new object into the array after getting the data from each cell. So I will use the get the element first, get the table, events table equals to document.getElement by ID. So now I need to add an ID to the table. So I will go to the calendar.js. I will add an ID to the table. So let's say this is the events table. So save it and go to here. Let's call it, get it with the ID of events table. And now I need to get the rows in the table. So let's the tr elements equals to the events table dot get elements by tag name. And the tag is tr. So after getting the tr elements, I will use the for loop. And for JavaScript, we have 4 types of for loop, and I will use the for of loop. So for let the tr of tr elements. So now I will get the TRs and I will create the object and push to the event array. So I will events array will push the events object. So where is this event object? I will need to create this. So I will have an event object. And for the event object content, I will get the element, get the cell of each row. So I will let the td elements be the get elements by tag name on the row. So the tr dot get elements by tag name. So the tr, the tag is the td. So after getting the td elements, I will create the object. So it will have the id property, the title property, and the start property. So for the id, it will be the td elements, the first one, dot inner text. And for the title, it will be the second cell inner text, and the start will be the last cell in the text. And we can keep this trailing comma in JavaScript. So after creating the event object, we'll push it to the event array. So hopefully it will get 2 event object into this array and pass to the Canada. So let's save it and let's run the server and see if it works. I see many other ways. Some Stack Overflow answers has provide some methods, but when I use them, it always shows error. So if you know better ways, please teach me. So now we can see that we have successfully put these 2 data from the controller into the Canada. So that's the purpose of today. So that's how to use the JavaScript libraries in the ASP.NET Core web apps. So I hope you like this lesson. And if you have any more suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment in the section. Thank you. Bye bye.